Hi everyone, welcome to e-learning. So today we're going to focus on the surface of the earth. That's for natural sciences for grade 5. Now, the only planet on the in the whole solar system that sustains life is Earth. And the reason for this is because Earth has soil, air, water, and sunlight. Now, these are all living things that humans and animals and plants need to survive. So we have soil in which plants grow. We have the air in which we breathe in. So when we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. The plants take in the carbon dioxide during the day and they give us oxygen to breathe during the day. Then plants, animals, and human beings need water to drink, and the plants need water to grow. And everybody needs energy from the sunlight, especially plants, because they take this energy from the sunlight and they use it to make food. And the food chain starts because humans and animals eat the plants and they indirectly get the energy sun. Now, plants need soil, air, and water and sunlight because they take the food and they use to make plants can make their food by using nutrients from the water and the soil and carbon dioxide from the air and also from sunlight. Without food they make, plants will not be able to survive and grow. Also, plants anchor the soil in through their roots in the ground. So this prevents soil erosion. Animals also need soil, air, water, and sunlight because animals take in oxygen from the air, they drink water to live, and the energy that they need for their life processes comes from the food that they eat. And most animals depend on plants for food, and this is how the energy is passed up in the food chain from plants. Right, so we're going to move on to some vocabulary. Now we're going to move on into soil. Soil comes from rocks. Okay, now topsoil is the top layer of the soil. Decompose, it means to break down into smaller parts. Fertile soil means that the plants flourish and grow well. Nutrients are substances that organisms need to grow and be healthy. Subsoil is a soil layer below the topsoil. Bedrock, now this is a solid rock below underground and it is found under the soil. Humus is basically soil made of decayed plants and leaves, and this is used to fertilize growing plants. Right, over millions of years ago, rocks were worn away by natural elements such as wind and water. These rocks broke down into smaller and smaller pieces and eventually grains of sand are formed. Now, if you look at the picture, the top layer is humus. Then we have topsoil. Underneath the topsoil, we have subsoil. In the humus in the topsoil, these are where all the nutrients of the soil are that allows the plants to grow. Now, below the subsoil, we get weathered rock fragments, and right at the bottom, we get bedrock. That is a more solid rock. Now, if we look at this picture A, you can see that the darkish layer is a topsoil. Topsoil forms very slowly because it is made up out of the smallest pieces of rock, and that is normally a mixture of soil and sand. Topsoil contains lots of nutrients to make the soil fertile, and the rotting of the plants and the animal layer on this layer is called humus. Okay, so now if they ask you why topsoil is important, these are the reasons why it is important. Now the layer under the topsoil is called subsoil. Sub means under. When it rains, the nutrients from the soil are washed into the subsoil, and the plant's roots can also get nutrients from this layer, although it is not as a nutrient fertile as the topsoil. The topsoil is the most fertile soil. The layer of broken pieces of rock, that's rock fragments, are mixed with the soil below the subsoil, and these are weathered rock fragments. And below that is the next layer, which is called the solid rocks of the Earth's crust, and this is called bedrock. Right, soil supports life on Earth. Now, soil basically provides plants with nutrients and water. They provide food for plants. Soil is the habitat for many different animals. Now, there's different types of soil. You get eroded soil. Now, this soil has been washed away by water or blown away by wind. Sandy soil is rough, gritty soil that is mainly made up of sand. Then we have clayey soil. It is a soil or hard soil that is mainly made up of clay. And loamy soil is a mixture of sand, clay, and humus. When a rock breaks up, it becomes grains of sand. These grains have different sizes and have also different names. The large grains are called sand grains and small grains are called clay grains. Clay grains are only visible under a microscope. Now, the three main types of soil is sandy soil, clay soil, and loam soil. They are grouped according to the proportions of different size grain. Now, proportion basically means that it is like, for example, if you're going to make a juice, you take a cup of Oros and you mix it with 1 liter of water, and the proportion is a certain amount to a certain amount, and you mix it together to get a mixed drink. Now let's look at sandy soil. Sandy soil has a high proportion of large courses of grains of sand in them. Sandy soil has a rough, gritty texture, and when you rub it with your fingers. Now this is the picture of sandy soil. This is the one you find mainly at the beach. Then we have clayey soil, and it looks like this. It contains high proportion of fine grains of clay. Clay soil has a smooth, sticky texture when it is wet, and it forms hard lumps when it is dry. Then we have loam soil. This soil has a mixture of sand and clay and other soil grains that we called loamy soil. And it has a crumbly texture when you rub it between your fingers. Now, this soil is normally used for agriculture. Now, dead plants and animals form compost. So if you look in this picture here, if you take all your food grains and you mix it with soil, it will decompose to form compost, and it will eventually look like this. And this is basically quite nutritious for the soil. It is called humus. The the compost mixes with the soil and it becomes dark and fine. So we call this humus, and it is very beneficial to the soil. And you can see that this is the end result, and this is how plants grow. Loamy soil has plenty of humus in it. Humus makes loamy soil light and nutrition rich, and it allows plants to grow because it is very, very fertile. Now, soil has air, water, and organisms in it. Now, you would see gardeners, they would take their fork and they dig into the soil. And this is basically aerating the soil. When you aerate the soil, it allows your plants to grow. Dry soil has air in the spaces between the grains. When the soil gets wet, the water fills into these spaces and the water sticks to the soil grains. Now, this aerating the soil also is a way of accumulating water in the soil for the plants to grow. Organisms that live in the soil use the air and the water in the soil to live, grow, and survive. Earthworms are found in the soil, and these also aerate the soil, and it provides nutrients to plants. Most plants take in water and nutrients from the soil through their roots. Now, bugs and birds eat worms from the soil that is that you find in the soil, and this forms an ecosystem. Now, you'd ask yourself this question: why is topsoil important? Topsoil is that where the humus is. It provides nutrients for the plants. The plants reproduce and the plants get water and minerals from the soil. It retains water and supports the root system to facilitate growth. It provides a habitat for many organisms, insects, and other small animals that contribute to the soil health. And the topsoil has a structure that helps resist erosion. So this question is quite important. You must learn it. Now, also you need to know that the plants, trees, and grass, they basically anchor the soil. Now, these roots in the plants, trees, and the grass, they form roots on the soil. And these roots form an anchor, so it binds all the soil together. And this prevents soil erosion. When it rains, the soil won't get washed away. It will stay where it is, and it prevents mudslides. Plants, trees, and grass anchoring the soil is important because it prevents soil erosion. Their roots create a network that holds their soil particles in place, making it harder for wind and water to carry the soil away. Remember that if we don't have this to bind our soil together, houses and bridges and everything can get washed away. So having plants, grass, and trees is very important because it must anchor the soil. So in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to explain how sedimentary rock is formed, and we're going to talk about fossils. There's two types of fossils: body fossils and trace fossils. Right, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck studying, everyone. Bye. Enjoy your day.